I feel good today. It's a busy, busy day at the brand. What brand? I'm glad you asked. What's up? This is the Early Edge. We are powered, as always, by the almighty SportsLine, the best value in all sports betting, and it's not close. We are here every single day. Also, do not forget tonight, prime time, Early Edge at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. All of the odds that you see on the Early Edge provided by our great partners, the king of all sports books, BetMGM. By the way, my name is the Coach, and yesterday, coming off a winning day here at this brand, we have one very simple motto. We just want to win more than we lose. 5-3. By the way, Middle Tennessee State up 23-7. I shut it off. And then Jacksonville State scored 50,000 points in a row. But that's all right. We still had a winning day. It's a crew. It's not just me. Now, we've got a lot to unpack today. A lot to unpack. If you have not watched our Week 5 NFL Mega Preview, it's in your feed right now. Our college football Mega Preview, it's live in your feed right now. And if you want to be all over today, tomorrow, and Saturday, well, let's bring in the stars of the show. Because today, in an absolute embarrassment of riches, look who I have. The Sniper is here. Buckets is here. Danny Brasco is here. The counselor is here. Now, counselor, we always do this little thing called 15 seconds. And there's a little golf tournament today that not too many people know about, but you promised picks, and you also have a little something cooking on social media. You get it this morning. Start us off.
Thank you, Coach. What an exciting time of year. We got the MLB playoffs, NCAA, college basketball's coming back. We got college football, NBA, hockey on the horizon. 53 out of the next 54 days have football. We're going to cancel that day that doesn't, by the way. We're going to take it off of the calendar. But more importantly, you're right, Coach. I tweeted out first-round leaders yesterday. I have a pick today, a 3-ball pick that's not going until later this afternoon. I just want to point out, because these first-round leader bets, they can be fun even when they don't hit. Robert Streb was one of my picks at 130-1. He's 3 under through 5, tied for second place, 130-1. Most of you have never even heard of Robert Streb. Hopefully he can get this sweat going for us and cash a 130-1 ticket. If he doesn't, at least we got the sweat.
Well, right now the lead's at 4 under, so he is right there at the top of the leaderboard. Now, Sniper, we fully intended to have baseball today, and I you know me, I'm not one to talk trash or anything, but Big Cheesy just wrote this, and I want your reaction to it. I just want to shout out Sup John yesterday for calling Coach a square, picking the teams that won the previous day, which I didn't, but let's say I did. I parlayed all those teams yesterday for a huge 4-teamer. So I get called out. And what teams won yesterday, Sniper? Can you remind me, please?
It was a sweep in every single series. The first time that we've ever had 4 series at once all be sweeps. Now, I know that's a little different because this is only the second year with the 3-game series this round, but yeah, that way, Coach. Also, shout out to the Rays and Blue Jays for being absolutely pathetic in their games. Between the Rays kicking the ball over the yard and diving when they couldn't get to the ball, and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. getting picked off second when he was the tying run with Bo Bichette at the plate, and the Blue Jays pulling Jose Barrios when he was throwing well through 3 innings. Just, wow. Nice showing, Jays and Rays.
Even A-Rod, who was calling the game on ESPN, said, don't take Barrios out. And
That was ridiculous.
It was almost like they were waiting to do it. Like he wanted to do it.
Yeah,
and
it was quick cook for no reason.
It was terrible. Great synopsis there, Snyder, Sniper. There's so many different names. I love the brand. Buckets, what are you smiling at? What are you doing?
I'm happy to be here, and anytime I can listen to my best friend Matt give a synopsis, it makes my day, Coach. It makes my heart nice and warm and full.
Do you know what synopsis means?
No.
Exactly. Words you don't know. What'd you say, Sniper?
I said it also makes my heart nice and warm and full that he thinks we're best friends.
All right. So all that being said, I could do that all day, but we've got a lot to get to today. Gentlemen, Week 5 in the NFL starts tonight. We've got a marquee matchup. I don't want any negativity in the chat because sometimes when a game doesn't look great on paper, it can be some of the most exciting football you've ever had. These two, I think, are going to have a pretty entertaining game tonight. So here are the numbers. The Washington Commanders, who took the Eagles to overtime just to lose after that, just the big toe of Terry McLaurin was out of bounds. Sorry, counselor. And then the total was 44.5. So, Sia Nejad, since this is your squad, I'm going to start with you. Are we going to fade or follow your Commanders tonight on Thursday Night Football?
First of all, you don't need to apologize for McLaurin's window being out of bounds because it was inbounds. And if you watch the video, you see the green between the line. Like that was like, the game was stolen from us because we're the Washington Commanders. This game, however, probably not going to be stolen from us. Listen, it's a Thursday night game. Maybe the pace is a little bit slower. Maybe the offenses aren't quite as dynamic, but both of these defenses can get beat, but especially the Bears defense. Now, you can beat the Bears through the run, but you can certainly beat them even harder with the pass. And I think they're going to cover this number. I'm not super comfortable with it. That's why I'm not making it an official play. But I think with this high total, it's 44.5. I think higher than people think. I think most people would think this would be at 42, 42.5, maybe even 41.5, especially for a Thursday night game. I think the Commanders end up pulling away here. So I would actually lay the points.
All right, so we got one for the Commanders from the counselor, Danny Brasco. Let me come over to you, big boy. How are you leaning your capping abilities into this game?
I think I would have to go towards the dog +6 if you can believe it. It's ugly, and this is a gross Thursday night matchup. But on the short week, there's no way I'm laying a touchdown with the Commanders here. The defenses have struggled on opposite ends. The Commanders have given up the second most deep balls, 15-plus yard passes. They've given up the second worst. So you can beat them through the air in that secondary. However, the Bears have failed to generate any pressure on quarterbacks. And that's going to be the key against Sam Howell here, who since college has really struggled under pressure. He folds under sacks. He grades 34th out of 34th in yards in EPA per play when under pressure, when not much better. So if the Bears can get any pressure at all, I think Howell will crumble a little bit. I think we can maybe see an 0-14 get something going here, and I'll lay the +6 and hope they can cover on a short week.
That was next level kind of analysis. What I can't understand is why Buckets is over there shaking his head like you're agreeing with everything Danny Brasco is saying.
Coach, Danny could have said anything, and I would have nodded my head and agreed. We're talking about NFL. It's just a safe way for me to play this.
We are aware. We are aware. Now, I'm going to weigh in before Sniper, and I'm going to take the Bears as well. I think this is one of those nights where Justin Fields plays out of his mind with his legs, take his over yardage with the rushing, and I think he's going to play pretty well. They scored 28 last week. So I'm going to take the Bears plus the points on a Thursday night. So 2 for the Bears, 1 for Washington. Sniper, what say you?
Yeah, you just said next level. I'm going to do the opposite of next level analysis. What is that, like previous level or something? I'm, as a Bears fan, I have come to realize through 4 games this year that it's just going to be the maximum amount of pain possible, which means they're going to cover and lose. It's going to be a close loss. Somehow they're going to choke it away. So I would say that Washington wins by 3 or something like that, which means I'm on the Bears side, I guess, for the cover, but I'm not on their side because I'm mad at them and I'm not dealing with them anymore right now.
It must be very hard to be a Chicago fan right now.
Yes, thank you for reminding me.
And apparently your take was so uninspired that Buckus decided to get up, walk away, and then when you were done, come back.
Understandable.
I'm sorry. I had every pet owner's favorite thing. Freya came up and started nudging my leg, so I pet her, and she went and was about to throw up all over the carpet. So I had to shoo her outside as fast as possible. So I didn't hate your take, but apparently she did. Just a warning to everybody.
How convenient.
Not sure we needed the reenactment, by the way. You could have just articulated what happened.
What's crazy is that would not be the first time a dog had thrown up on the early end, which is crazy too. True story. If you were here, you know what I'm talking about. Oh my goodness, where is this show going? Well, I know where I'm going to go to place all my bets. That's a next level segue right there, too. BetMGM, boys. The new BetMGM customers can sign up today and get $200 in bonus bets. Just place your first wager of at least $10, and you will receive $200 instantly in bonus bets, regardless of your wager's outcome, with bonus code EDGE200. That is bonus code EDGE200. Now, Thursdays, we really start to ramp things up, and we are all over the place. In fact, later today, I'll tell you the time. Right after this, where are we going to be? Snake?
Well, you need the sports news anywhere.
We've got breaking news to bring you.
Then get your sports anytime you want them. Big trade news overnight to discuss.
Because we know you need sports all the time.
A lot of movement in the rankings this week.
A legend adds to their legacy.
We're bringing you that breaking news right here on HQ.
CBS Sports HQ, anywhere, anytime, all the time.
1:15 Eastern time. I go toe-to-toe, face-to-face, head-to-head with Will Brinson and the Pick Six podcast. By the way, boys, I am burying him right now, representing all of you. You're welcome. You're welcome. Now, speaking of you're welcome, I am staring at two plays right now that I am not even sure Buckets can pronounce the names of the teams that he picked today. But alas, that is where we're going to start, because after the last 2 days, Buckets, you and I crushed it privately with our Champions League picks. Next level capping. But now today, let's make them public. Let's throw two plays out there in the Europa League, and soccer fans know what I'm talking about, because there's a full slate today at 12:45 p.m. Eastern Time, and then at 3 p.m. Eastern Time as well. Floor is yours.
Coach, you and I are both hashtag next level soccer cappers, but I am not a hashtag next level pronouncer. So these are going to be pretty tough, but I promise you guys the value is there. We're starting with a team that is an absolute friend of this show because we've cashed on them more times than I can count. So many tickets, it's impressive that I actually can't pronounce their name. It is Polish side RKS Rakau Czechowia, who is hosting Austria club Sturm Graz. We're taking the same thing we always take when Rakau plays, and only when they play at home. Rakau on the draw no bet at minus 135. This team, when they play at home, they play like prime Barcelona back in 2008. And when they play on the road, they play like us five playing together here on the Early Edge team, just randomly in a pickup league. It is embarrassing when they play on the road, but at home, they are unbeatable. In the last 3 seasons of play, they have 29 wins at home, 8 draws, and only 2 losses. So the fact that we can take draw no bet in this Europa match at 12:45 this afternoon and get that safety net still at playable odds, I know it's a little bit of juice, but I promise you guys the juice is worth the squeeze for a team that'll probably win this one 3-1. Then we go to the Europa Conference League to bet on another team that has taken us to the pay window time and time again. We have Spartak Trnava, who is hosting our boys Fenerbahce from the Turkish Super League. I wanted to take Fener on the money line here, but that's currently minus 225, and that's just a bit out of my play range. However, what we can do is take Fener on the money line plus over 1.5 goals at this game to get that down to, again, a little bit of juice, but playable odds at minus 135. Fener have won 16 matches straight across all competitions. Not won or draw, 16 wins straight. When they interviewed their manager, Ismail Kartel, saying, "Do you even care about this competition?" He said, "I care about winning every competition." This team is going to absolutely obliterate Spartak. I think, again, this match will be 3-1, 4-1, a blowout here. But take Fener on the money line with over 1.5 goals to get that juice down, Coach, because the pay window doesn't care about the juice. I'll see you guys there.
You're damn right the pay window doesn't care about the juice. And why that bet is so smart, for those of you that don't do a lot of soccer betting, sometimes you'll have a team that's favored by a goal. So if they win 2-1, you don't cash. If you bet this way, a 2-1 does cash. Next level capping right there. Well done, Buckets. Well freaking done. Now, this man has been all over the place. I see him on Twitter talking about his NFL cashes and all these next level picks, but he's on our team. He's on the Early Edge crew. And this week, the UFC is back, baby, and I'm here for it. Danny Brasco, you're up next.
Yes, it is, Coach. We missed it for a week, but we're back. And by the way, shout out to Buckets. That Linguistics 101 class is paying off. That pronunciation was pretty good, but I'll pick it up with these interesting UFC fighter names we always have, and hopefully I can bring us home strong for good ESL that we've taught ourselves on. So here we go into the picks. And first off, I'm going to start in the main event. Parlay piece, because he's a big favorite. Grant Dawson on the money line. He's taking on Bobby Green in this main event, and it's a huge stylistic clash here. Dawson is a fantastic wrestler. He keeps great top control and pressure, and Green is a slick boxer with interesting footwork and head movement, keeps his hands low, fires punches from the hips. Problem with that is that head movement footwork, not going to help you defend takedowns. And once he gets on the ground, he's likely to stay there for the rest of the round. So I think Dawson dominates him with the wrestling and grappling. I'm going to parlay him with Joe Pyfer by KO, TKO, or submission, any type of finish, because he's live to really put this guy Al Hassan away in the first, second round, I think, early on. Yeah, his right hand, left hook combination is scary, but he's got sneaky good grappling, training with those Renzo Gracie guys out of Philadelphia that people haven't seen quite yet. So I think the UFC's matchmaking for a future star like Pyfer is clear here. They're giving him another highlight reel type of opponent where he can get that big finish. So parlay those two guys together, and yeah, we're getting a little juice here, but I think we win this one. And like Bucket says, pay winner don't care about the juice. So let's move on to the next pick here, and we're going to take a look at a fighter that I've been betting on for a long time. He's just a scrapper. He will fight for your money, and that's why I have no problem investing in him every time. It's Bill Algeo at -140 here, and he's taking on a guy in Aaron Hernandez who's really thrived at lightweight, 155 pounds. He's moving back down to featherweight, 145, where he struggled with weight cuts and has constantly gassed out later on in fights. He's coming off a performance where he looked really good against another tough guy and veteran Jim Miller, but Algeo's got those same kind of hard-nosed characteristics, and I think he's more dangerous than Miller is. If he gets him in the Muay Thai clinch, he could beat him up in positions there. The more the fight drags on, the bloodier it gets, the more I favor Algeo, and I think that's how it's going to go. So give me Billy Algeo on the money line. And finally, let's close out with a pronunciation of the day. Ari Chi Leng on the money line here. He's a -110 pick'em only because he got cold slept in his last fight. And I understand people are going to be down on him. He got one hitter quitter, but he still has that dog in him. I think he kind of just got clipped on the back of the ear and, went out. He's going to march forward, apply that boxing pressure, and he's facing a guy that's much more of a grappler who I don't think presents enough of a threat back on the feet for Ari Chi Leng to keep just moving forward and putting boxing combinations on him. So kind of with a back against the wall spot here, fighting for his UFC job after a bad loss. Give me Ari Chi Leng to bounce back, and there's 3 UFC picks for you this Saturday.
I absolutely love those. And I love a fighter who is fighting for his job, a new contract. I love leaning into those guys. Next level stuff right there, Danny Brasco. Well done. Well done. Now, I should have been 2-0 last night, but I'm not EC. I'm not going to say almost. I'm not going to say should have. If the defense doesn't show up, you lose your bet. But I found a game tonight. There's 2 on Thursday night. Opposite Thursday night football. Western Kentucky is laying 6. I absolutely love them tonight, because they're playing a La Tech team that defense stinks. They've given up 38, 40 to North Texas. That 38 was to SMU, 28 to Nebraska, whose offense absolutely stinks. Western Kentucky, they have a good offense. They're on national TV. They want to show out. Laying less than a touchdown, I would play it up to 7, but I wouldn't play it over 7. But I love Western Kentucky tonight. That is how you're going to cash with the coach. Now, it's not just a busy night tonight. It's tomorrow, it's Saturday, and here at CBS, college football. It's our bread and butter. Now, I call him 1B for a reason. There is nothing I cannot call this man up for that he says no to, because he knows every single sport back to front, top to bottom, left to right. So when I said I need a golf pick and a football pick, he said, Coach, I got you. Counselor, you're up.
All right, well, let's start chronologically. A lot of syllables there, Buckets, but that just means I'm going in order.
Okay,
We're going to start with golf. Steven Jaeger. So listen, he is the class of this field, in my opinion. He's at the top of the odds board with guys like Ludwig Aberg. He's in a 3-ball this afternoon. It starts around 2:30, 2:34 Eastern Standard Time. I note the Eastern Standard Time because I noticed the chat is absolutely fixated on Danny Brasco's clock and how it's indicating Central Time. So go back in the chat if you haven't seen that. But I like Steven Jaeger -115 over Sam Stevens and Ricky Barnes. Ricky Barnes isn't really a part of this conversation. He's plus 550. He won't really contend with these two. Sam Stevens is actually a decent golfer, but he's nothing like Steven Jaeger. Steven Jaeger's recent form is good, and his general form is much better than Sam Stevens. Both of them can struggle with the putter at times, but again, this is really a 2-ball as far as I'm concerned. And Steven Jaeger -115 over Sam Stevens is a great price. So I really like that this afternoon. And then we're going to move to football. I may have another pick when we get to our early edge primetime review there, but I'm going to go with, and Danny Brasco actually kind of alluded to this, I'm going to go with a longest reception prop, DJ Moore over 21.5 receiving yards. I'll note that Maestro is on DJ Moore's receiving yard total of 49.5. I think it's 50.5 now. I like both of those too. I'm going with his longest reception because he's hit this in his last 3 games, and his volume in his last 3 games has been very good. 8 of 9 last week for 131 yards. The week before that against the Chiefs, 3 of 6 for 41 yards. But A, he hit the longest reception prop there, and B, he dropped a bomb, a perfect dime from Justin Fields. That stat line should be way better. The game before that, he caught 6 of 7 for 104. Yes, this Washington defense can be beat deep. I do want to qualify just a little bit because they had to face Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts, and they did give up that Hail Mary to Russell Wilson in game 2. But nonetheless, this young secondary can absolutely get beat deep, and DJ Moore is going to be force-fed in a likely negative game script. Give me his over in general, but give me his over in longest reception, 21.5.
I love when one pick can feed into Thank you, Sniper. Why are you shaking your head, Buckets?
Coach, you know that I'm the last person that would ever want to interrupt your flow, but I'm not going to sit here and let Sia say that I don't know what chronological means when I clearly know that it means calculated in terms of passage of time rather than some other criterion. Sia, I have to call you out on this one because my bank called me this morning and said, are you done making donations to whoever Sia Nejad is? And I told them, no, I'm not, because I disagree with your golf pick. I do not like Steven Yeager to win this one. I like Sam Stevens to win this one, Sia. So I disagree with your golf pick. And I could honestly use $100 to help mediate and consolidate and chronologicate my pain that you've given me this morning. So I ask you, are you down for a showdown, Sia?
Jake, before someone talks him out of it, play the music.
It's gonna be a showdown.
That's better. Sorry, Coach. You can keep going now.
Chronologicate, by the way, guys. Word of the day is chronologicate.
Don't you forget it, Danny.
Play that.
I don't even know who this is right now. So let's unpack this for a second. You're allowing me to talk now, so I can talk on the show that I started, right?
Correct.
Okay. Bradley is asking in the chat, does Sia cap soccer? Do you probably not.
Pick for pick.
Rebecca.
There it is. The word of the day.
The chat wants us to ask you, Buckets, do you know what the mascot is for Western Kentucky?
No.
Does that have anything to do with golf? It's the big red Pac-Man looking guy, right?
Well, actually, yes.
Kind of close?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Do you know what it's called?
Is it close to Chronologicate? Because that would be hilarious.
That would be very, very funny. Not close.
No, I don't know.
Close. Hilltoppers. Hilltoppers. Sniper, he pegged that one right away. He said you would have no shot at getting that one. And he was right. Oh, Buckets, you're literally the gift that just keeps on giving. All right, Sniper, there's a reason why I can trust you. There's a reason why I put you in this spot every single day. Because I know no matter what happens over there, you're always going to bring us home. You're always going to park the car, as the kids like to say. So, Sniper, if you don't mind, I need maybe a little future and maybe perhaps a pick on the game tonight. Can you help me out?
Yes, I do have an NFL play, actually. I'm going to go with Brian Robinson over 63.5 rushing yards. The Bears leave so many rushing lanes open. Sometimes it seems at random times. They'll stack a guy up on a couple plays, and then all of a sudden next time he springs for 8 to 10 yards. Robinson, he only had 14 carries last week despite it going to overtime, but that's because there were a lot more passing down. So there was a lot more Gibson on the field. The Commanders were throwing the ball a lot more. The week before, Robinson only had 10 carries, but it was for 70 yards. And again, they got blown out by the Bills. This game's going to be totally different. They're going to be controlling the tempo. They're going to be leading most of the game. They're going to be trying to keep Justin Fields off the field. That doesn't sound great back to back, does it? I expect a high volume of carries here. I would say probably in the 20 range, averaging at around 4 yards a carry, maybe more. So I think we're going to be over 63.5 easily here. Also, look ahead to the American League side of the playoffs here in baseball, the ALDS. We thought we would have some games tonight, at least one game, but we didn't get any. So we'll look ahead. I like the Orioles in the series against the Rangers. This is a tough one. It's really close. It's essentially a pick 'em, but I have a gut feeling that the Orioles are going to play really well in this. And one thing about the two teams where they contrast is the Rangers have been one of the most fickle teams throughout the season. They're so up and down. They'll get really, really hot and look like the best team in baseball. Then they'll get really cold and look absolutely helpless. Meanwhile, the Orioles haven't been swept since May of last year. They have not been swept since May of last year, since Adley Rutschman came up from the minors. So they are as consistent as it comes. I'm betting on the consistency here, winning out over the team that's truly hit or miss in a 5-game series. So I'm on the Orioles. In the other series, I actually lean toward the Twins. The Astros, they have the home field advantage in this series, but they are 39-42 at home this season. If you go back to the penultimate weekend of the season, the Astros had what looked like a must-win series against the historically bad Kansas City Royals, and they got swept at home by the Royals. I do not trust the Astros at home. Framber Valdez and Justin Verlander are getting the balls in games 1 and 2, but neither one has been reliable in the second half ever since Valdez threw that no-hitter. And the Twins, if they can get one of those road games and they go home with Sonny Gray in game 3, I like the way things line up for the Twins in this one. The Astros are better, but they just don't play well at home, and I do not think they are trustworthy for the first time in the playoffs in a long time.
If any of your friends say, hey, have you heard any good baseball capping today? I suggest you tell them, go watch the early edge, minute 23 to minute 26, and just leave it there. Because I'll ask you a very direct question. Do you want to do all that work? I didn't think so. Sniper, next level. Now, are you good, Buckets? Because they're all touting you. There's nothing I can do anymore. Rich says classic Buckets, educate and entertain. Ryan says, I love this show. Y'all make my day. I just try to get through the show, and you just interrupt my flow, not once today, but twice. I'm irritated. We're not in first grade. You don't have to do the zipper over the mouth thing.
I didn't want to interrupt you 3 times in one day, Coach. That seemed like overkill. Plus, I bet under 2.5 interruptions, so now I just ruined it. So thanks.
Capper Taylor said, I told you yesterday, Buckets, you forgot the 1% waiting to see how often you can make Coach facepalm himself. Which I did twice today, by the way. Gentlemen, yes, Danny.
I just got a couple footnotes for you. Sia mentioned in the chat real quick. Yes, I am in the East Coast. I need AA batteries for my clock. It is an hour behind. Number 2, Bill Algio's opponent is Alex Hernandez, not Aaron Hernandez. That was an unfortunate slip of the name. And number 3, Coach, I love your prop on Justin Fields. 54 rushing yards were given up by the Commanders to the ghost of Russell Wilson. You don't think Justin Fields can get over that? So come on now. I like that. There's my 3 footnotes.
The ghost that is Russell Wilson. Boy. Justin Fields is going to run for 100 yards tonight. I'm telling you right now. Book it. I didn't make the play. I'm telling you. He will rush for 100 yards tonight. It's going to be amazing. Thank you for those footnotes. Very, very important. That's how you ruin a flow. Are you okay, Sniper? Oh, Justin Fields, number 1 in your hearts. Number 1 in your hearts. Grab your paper. Grab your pencil. Here's the recap, courtesy of the Snake. Sorry, Snake. I know this cut off the rails just a little bit. C is on DJ Moore. Longest reception, over 21.5 yards, minus 120. Listen to his and to Danny's analysis. That's why this one makes a lot of sense. Then we're going to a little 3-ball. By the way, I've never had anybody challenge a showdown on a 3-ball, but I guess there's a first time for everything. Steven Yeager for Sia, and Buckets has Sam Stevens. What happens if Ricky Barnes wins? I have no idea. Buckets,
he can have both.
Oh,
wow.
Thank you, Sia.
I like it.
Wow. I'll deal with that in a second when I come back on screen. All right. So Buckets is on Raycast Shechikova. Draw no bet. Remember, that's the third line. A draw, you get your money back. And Fenerbahce, money line and over 1.5 goals. Usually have to stroll down to the bottom, and you can find it there, minus 135. What that means is you've got to get at least 2 total goals in the match. And 2-0 wins, 2-1 wins, 3-1 wins, all that happens. But this is a great way to bring the number down. Then if you're going to cash with the coach, it's going to be Western Kentucky -6, minus 110 over Louisiana Tech. Then the Sniper, 2 big plays and a lean. Brian Robinson over 63.5 rush yards, minus 120. Yes, Sniper is doing NFL for us this year, and I'm excited for it. Orioles, basically a pick 'em. He likes the Orioles over the Rangers and also the Twins over the Astros. And then Danny Brasco, UFC on Saturday night. 2 straight. Algio and Kling, minus 140, minus 110. And then the parlay, Grant Dawson and Joe Pfeiffer. All of our odds presented by BetMGM. Now, Counselor, did I just hear you say that you would give Buckets, Ricky Barnes, and Sam Stevens?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's still like it's part of the bet. He can. I mean, Ricky Barnes is not going to contest in this matchup. He can have him.
Wow. I'm very interested in this one. Very interested in this one. And by the way, Buckets, tonight when me and Sia are kicking it at the club, and you think you're in the VIP, but you're actually in the bathroom, please come to the VIP. Okay? It's not where they put the clones. All right? Actually come to the VIP. Tell them Coach told you to come. Okay?
Okay.
No.
I can't believe he thought where all the colognes were, that was the VIP area. Jeez. You can't make it up. You can't make it up. All right. That's all the damage we can do. Do not forget, however, tonight at 7:30 p.m. Eastern time, it is prime time early edge. More of this nonsense as we break down Thursday night football, the Bears and the Commanders, kicking off week 5 in the National Football League. So be kind to one another. Pay it forward. Tell everybody you want to have some fun to start your day at 10 a.m. Eastern time. Right here is where you need to be. So with all that being said, there's only one thing left to do. And I believe you all know what that is. You've got your marching orders. Let's take all of these tickets straight to the pay window. For my attack crew, Lobo, Danny Brasco, the counselor, Sniper, even my man Buckets. And don't forget about the snake, always on the ones and the twos, making the show look like $1 million. We grind for you so we can win with you. It's truly what we're all about every single day right here at the Early Edge. Good luck.